how to lose the belly fat in menopause. Many people these days, many scientists and personal trainers and health coaches and big health people are saying to shoot for around 1 gram of protein per healthy body weight. That's quite a bit of protein. Maybe hard for some of you to get. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Honeycast. I am answering top 10 questions from you guys about menopause, weight loss, all the things. The next question I'm going to be answering is probably the biggest question I get in all of my groups and all of my talks and all of my communications, and that is how to lose the belly fat in menopause. What I want to say is this: you cannot spot train. You cannot spot lose weight, and you cannot spot train, which means you can't really target a specific area. When your body loses weight in a very special way. With women, it's usually top down, bottom up. And depending on what body type you have, your body is going to respond differently. And some of us are always going to have somewhat of a belly. It is a very rare person that is going to be able to have a flat belly. And the other thing is, if crunches or planks or ab work worked on reducing belly fat, we would all have the opportunity to have no belly because you can't spot train. However, I will say there are exercises that you can do, first of all, to strengthen your core, which is very important, and to turn on fat burning. How do we turn on fat burning so that your fat cells shrink everywhere, not just in your belly, but everywhere? Strength training. It is going to be the needle mover exercise that you want to incorporate and work on. It is because it is going to replace fat with muscle. When we lose weight, normally, especially if we're not healthfully losing weight, we lose muscle. And the more muscle you lose, the more your metabolism slows down. And when you do gain weight back, it's all fat. Fat is inflammatory. Fat turns on it's actually an inflammation process that produces chemicals. It produces chemicals in our body that produces visceral fat, which is unhealthy fat around our organs, which is dangerous. And so we want to focus on keeping our muscle, if not just that, building muscle. When you build muscle, you help your body regulate insulin. Your muscles act as a sponge, and they will suck excess insulin, excess glucose that gets stored as fat in your cells. Help suck that out. The more muscle you have, the healthier you're going to be. It impacts our metabolism in a positive way, the more muscle that you have. So that is a key exercise that you can do, yes, for belly fat, especially for women in midlife, focusing on lower body exercises because our larger muscles are going to provide a better metabolic boost and burn. Yes, work your arms for sure, but let's use those larger muscles, build those larger muscles so that you burn more calories at rest. And of course, you are stronger and you're maintaining bone, which is huge in menopause. So back to spot training. So crunches and planks, wonderful for core, but not going to get rid of that belly fat. What you want to do is you want to shrink your fat cells. Fat loss, that's what we're doing. We're not water loss, we're not muscle loss. It is fat loss. So we do that with strength training. The other part of that is everyday movement. Believe it or not, 15 to 20% of our metabolism, actually of our fat burning, comes from everyday movement. I don't know about you, but as a menopausal woman, I can tend to get a little bit more sedentary, or have been. I have to be very intentional, and I do. I actually do 2 walks a day. It is non-negotiable in my world to do 2 30 to 40 minute walks. And if I don't have that time, I do 15 minutes. I also get a lot of other movement in on purpose, but it's easier when it's intentional as opposed to just listening to how your body feels, or really not being intentional about if you sit in front of a computer all day long. If you're going on how you feel, no, not going to work out. A lot of times we're feeling less energetic because we have less estrogen. Estrogen actually helps with energy, as does testosterone. And if your testosterone levels are low, you may feel unmotivated. You may have no libido. You may not have motivation and muscle retention. So it's very important to make sure that you're supporting your body well, even considering hormone replacement therapy in the context of it will indirectly help your weight loss. It may not directly help your weight loss, but it can indirectly help your fat loss because estrogen helps you keep your muscle. Estrogen helps you regulate blood sugar. Estrogen does a lot of beautiful things. Progesterone is going to help with your anxiety levels. It's your feel-good hormone. It can help you sleep. We need sleep. And that's another thing for belly fat loss. Believe it or not, sleep is up there. It is top 3. So making sure that you get good and adequate sleep, you do what you can to set yourself up for success for good sleep is paramount. It's paramount. So now let's talk about nutrition and food. What are the things that are going to be the needle movers for fat loss? That's going to be having adequate protein. Many people these days, many scientists and personal trainers and health coaches and big health people are saying to shoot for around 1 gram of protein per healthy body weight. That's quite a bit of protein. That may be our max. May be hard for some of you to get. What I suggest and Trim Healthy suggests is at least 25 grams 4 times a day. Breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner. That's about 100 grams a day. If you're working out with weights, you're going to want more. You're going to want to feed that muscle right after your workout. That's a beautiful time to get that muscle fed. But adequate protein is key for belly fat loss. It is. It's thermogenic. It helps with cravings, it helps boost metabolism, and it helps regulate your blood sugar. When your blood sugar and your insulin is regulated, your body isn't in fat storage mode. We want it in fat burning mode. Another thing to consider is making sure that you are getting enough low glycemic carbohydrates. It is not good for your metabolism nor your hormones to go low carb. Most ladies will say, I'm going to go low carb and exercise all the time, and it backfires because it's going to raise cortisol levels. When estrogen's gone, your body needs to know that everything's okay. And believe it or not, those good carbohydrates, the good ones, the ones that are whole foods, low glycemic, those are going to tell your pituitary, calm down, thyroid, pituitary, everybody's okay. We're good. We're not starving. It is going to help your adrenals. It is going to help your hormones. It is going to help your energy levels. It is going to help cortisol levels. Actually, when you have those good carbohydrates, it's going to help lower cortisol. And so we don't want to avoid carbohydrates, but we don't want to have too many as well. So you want to be looking at the types of carbohydrates and you want to utilize high fiber foods. So another study shows that high fiber is associated with belly fat loss. So where do we get our fiber? We're going to get that from our fruits, from our vegetables. You're even going to get it from nuts and seeds. You are going to get it from things like ground flax seeds, chia seeds, psyllium husk. You are going to get fiber from fruits. So don't be afraid of those fruits. Eat your fruits with the skin on. You want the fiber. And then you can always add more fiber. I add more fiber to my smoothies. Protein and fiber at breakfast, whether you're having a carbohydrate meal or a fat-based meal, either one, protein and fiber, king and queen for belly fat loss. You want to make sure you're having protein and fiber at every single meal. And you want to throw in those good carbohydrates, at least 2 of your or carbohydrate-based meals per day. Next, we're going to focus on anti-inflammatory foods for sure, but we really want to go light on the fats. You need your good fats. Belly fat, when you have excess fat and your body cannot burn through the fat, it's going to continue to store fat. So we want to make sure that you are burning through your fuels and that your body is burning its own fuel. And our brain and our hormones and our body needs those good fats, but we're looking at this in a little bit of a different way. We want light fats. We don't want a lot of heavy butter and coconut oil and cream cheese and sour cream and yellow cheese and all of the cheesy things. The common dairy can be very inflammatory for the woman in midlife. So we want to limit those and we want to focus on our good gut-friendly foods, which would be fermented dairy would be best. Homemade kefir is wonderful. It's actually associated with fat burning, believe it or not. You're also going to want to focus on maybe fermented Greek yogurt and or fermented cottage cheese. And using some of the lighter fats, olive oil is beautiful. Olive oil is actually fat burning. It helps you turn on your brown fat. It's so good for your heart. We're using it in a small amount. Same thing with coconut oil. Same thing with MCT oil. How about trying avocados and salmon? Beautiful fatty foods. Maybe focus on some of the gut-friendly cheeses like feta and blue cheese, goat cheese, sheep cheese. Even a little bit of Parmesan cheese is a little bit lighter. Usually your body can handle that type of fat. So we're going to focus on whole foods with fiber. The more processed food you're eating, the less thermogenic effect it is, and the more inflammatory it can be. And when we are inflamed, we are not going to release fat. So we really want to pull down those inflammation levels by eating your fiber and your whole foods. And we're going to totally cut out the refined carbohydrates. If you want to cut out any carbs, please cut out the chips and the breads and the potato chips and anything in a package. Now, I love a good sprouted bread. I love a good sourdough bread, especially if it's homemade, but I'm not even making mine right now. I buy mine. However, the refined carbohydrates, excessive alcohol, and even excessive caffeine can contribute to belly fat. So we really want to clean up our diet. We also want to make sure that we are hydrating. Hydration is very important, and that you are also maybe adding in a little bit of HIIT training. That's high intensity interval training, once or twice a week. This is the best fat burning type exercise, 6 to 12 minutes. You're just getting breathless for 30 seconds and you're recovering for 30 seconds or a minute. And you're doing that anywhere from 4 to 8 times. If you're just starting out, go with 4 intervals. The HIIT training is going to help you burn calories and burn fat even after your workout. It's short enough, and it's because getting breathless, what we're doing is it's called polarized training. It helps restore. When estrogen is there, you have a lot more restoration going on. You have a lot of help. When estrogen is gone, we need to polarize our training. We need to have it to be a little bit more intense, but shorter. So you're going to work really hard, but a short period of time. Why? If you do this too long, it's going to cause cortisol levels to rise. So we just want short bouts of high intensity where you're getting breathless and you're burning some calories. And we're also going to focus on what? On the weight training and the heavy lifting. So all of this seems like a whole lot, but if you start with 1 or 2 things on this list and you are consistent as you can be, you will start to shrink your fat cells. Everyone is going to respond differently. A couple of things that I would suggest is give yourself time to see results. Have your thyroid checked and make sure it's optimized. If it is not optimized, if it's just in the normal range, it might not be helping you. As a matter of fact, it could be harming your weight loss goals. It could totally keep you from seeing what you want to see as far as fat loss. So get that thyroid optimized. And then, like I said, be patient with yourself. Believe that you can, because you can. I've seen it over and over and over. And have fun. Have fun while you're doing it. Try to make this fun. Anything that we see as drudgery or a chore or a diet, it's not going to last. So how can you make this fun?